Hello and welcome to Get Home Safely today. My name is Mark, and our mission is your personal protection, safety, and security. One of the things that we all have in common is that from time to time we're going to take a fall, and nothing good really comes out of a fall. It can be very scary, happens very fast, and while we're falling, it's kind of a little unreal until that sudden deceleration trauma there at the very bottom when we hit the ground. And that's where we get hurt. Wrists, elbows, knees, front of your face, your head. So we just collectively call that the bony parts. And so when we take a fall, one of the things we want to do is try to avoid hitting any of those parts. We call that a break fall. And we're going to start off very easy. Instead of from this height, which is very difficult to do as a beginner, we want to be down low where we can be very comfortable. Let's sit on the ground. It's the safest place to be right now. And we're going to learn today how to do the back break fall. So the back break fall is you're walking along, maybe you slip and you're going backwards. We're going to hit the ground, probably with our rear to our back, and of course our head may well hit the ground and probably would, because when we fall from a standing height, we're going about 50 miles an hour by the time our head makes it to the ground. So to put that in perspective, if you were standing on the side of a road and a car goes zipping by at 55 miles an hour, just put that in your mind. That's how fast you're traveling when you hit the ground. So you don't have very much time to react. That's why we do this training. We're going to start on the ground. We're going to get used to all the mechanics of it, breathing. Eventually, we're going to get to a squat, and we'll do the same movements from a squatted position, and then we'll come up as high as is reasonable. Now, do you need to do these falls from a standing height? No, you don't. If you practice diligently on these techniques that you're about to see, then it'll be in your brain, and the day your fall comes, you'll remember that part. You know, it's very age-based and skill-based. If you've already got an injured shoulder, for example, we may have to show you something else to protect that in a fall. You may have to somehow get yourself to the other side in order to protect your shoulder. Then we've got age issues. The older we get, the harder it is, and I certainly don't want a person in advanced years taking a standing fall. Better to practice down here in a safe zone, and then should we ever need it, it's going to be there for us. So this is the back break fall. I'm going to turn for you. One of the things when we're going down, if we realize we're in our fall, there's a real temptation there to catch yourself, to try and stop the fall. That's usually where people get hurt the most. That's why we want to break the fall instead. So as soon as you're going down, you're spotting your landing if it's at all possible. We're going to realize spatially where we are, and then we're going to execute the break fall. So don't let any of that worry you right now. We're going to be working it over and over again, and you're going to actually get to see it. So in this case, I'm going to be falling backwards. You can picture me, if you will, already standing up if you like, and all of a sudden I'm going backwards. So I'm sitting up. One of the first things we want to do is take in some air and then blow it out. Why do we blow it out? We want our air blown out when we hit the ground. So when we're coming down, boom, we hit that ground. If you're full of air, it's just like a balloon that's full of air, and then come over there and step on it. What happens to it? It doesn't go well, does it? So you need to blow your air out, which is going to help your body in the fall. One more time. So as I went backwards, my hands are coming down and they're stopping a certain distance away from my body. If I go down to here, this would be too far out. It would not have done me much good on my break fall. This is too close, and again, would not have helped me very much. So right in this area, if I was falling from a standing height, the chances of my feet going up are really good, which is why I lifted them up in this example right here. The next part is, you might have noticed that my chin went from here down to my chest. Because when I hit the ground, I want to tuck my chin, because when you get hit, your head is going to want to go back, and that is not going to be a good injury for you right there. If you were turning to the side slightly when it happened, you'd be then impacting the side of your head like this. So we want to have a tuck. And the other thing you might have noticed is there was a slight roll when I hit the ground. In other words, if we hit the ground flat like a pancake, that hurts. But it might not hurt you that bad, especially if you've got all your air out of you. If you have a bunch of air in you and you hit that ground pretty flat, you get what's called knocking the wind out of you, which can absolutely knock you unconscious. And most people recover just fine from that, but it's not very pleasant. So we want to exhale that air. But the other thing we want to do is we want to protect our tailbone back here, because as we start to land, if we're landing onto our rear end, right at the bottom of your spine, there's a little bone there. And that's a very common bone to get broken. And it just makes life miserable for you as far as your back is concerned. So best not to hit that directly. The way we avoid that is with a little roll back. I'm going to do that without a slap here. Just rolling back. So that's how I hit the ground. A little bit of this. Now we're getting away with that because we're down on the ground right now. In real life, you might be able to avoid hitting the bottom of your spine, and you may well be flat after that, boom, with no roll. But you avoided hitting that tailbone, and that is what it's all about. Remember, usually the falls are coming from way up here, and you're going to be moving at 55 miles an hour as you go down. There's only so much you can do. So that's the end of our break fall session for today. So a couple of things. First is, don't let it intimidate you. Just start slowly, take your time, don't get hurt. What surface should you be on when you do the break falls? Well, you can have a mat that's like this mat, or any kind of mat. Yoga mat works just fine, maybe a couple of yoga mats together. You could do it in the grass. So any kind of surface really that you want to be on and that you're comfortable with. Practice frequently. The more you do it, the more it becomes part of your muscle memory. And in a fall, that's really all the time there is. There's no time to think during a fall. We just want to be automatic about what we do. And the only way we get automatic is by doing it over and over again. The best example I can think of for that would be tying your shoes. It took you a while to learn how to tie your shoes, but now you can tie your shoes, watch TV, and talk to somebody at the same time, and all of a sudden your shoes are tied. It's the same thing for these break falls. So when you're watching the videos for your own practice sessions, be sure to use the pause button, or perhaps you have slow motion, and study those movements so you can repeat them. And also, before you leave today, take a moment to fall on our like and subscribe buttons. And be sure to leave your comments and questions below. See you next time.